to another Trading Fibs video. Today we're going to go over the usual. I'm going to start with the SPY, or I'm going to start with the S&P 500 with three charts. I'm going to start with the SPY, then we'll go to the SPX, and then the micro E-mini futures. And then after those three, we're going to touch base on the dollar Japanese yen spot. So by now everybody should recognize this chart here for the SPY. This is the V recovery from COVID. Our correction here in 22. Our impulse up here in 23. And we had our couple of pullbacks here in early of this year. And now everybody's trying to figure out where this rally is going. And a couple of things that, when I analyze these charts are definitely certain patterns, not only in Elliott wave or Fibonacci tracement levels, but just the way price action moves in general. So let's see here. Let's switch this down to let's do the 30-minute real quick. No, we'll come back to the 30-minute. Let's start off with the 4-hour. All right. So we'll go over this 4-hour chart here from the low in April. Touch base on a couple indicators, but right now I want to compare this move. Okay, well, let's go over the count real quick. So the move in April, and I'm always looking for three moves. That's it, ABC moves. We can see our April 7th low to our April 8th to April 9th, and basically that happened in 2 days. It gave us our starting point, our first leg, for our A leg. Now from there, I think we started some kind of triangle pattern, and I've got it labeled as an A here, B here, C here, D, and E. Notice the breakout for E. This is what got me back in November of last year. Well, let's burn this in your memory real quick and we'll try to compare it. So just kind of get a good visual on how you get your three moves here, your triangle pattern, it breaks out and retraces to 23.6 of the beginning of the triangle. Right here, 23.6. All right. Now let's go to the November election day. Right here. I got it labeled out already. So it looks a little different. I understand. But the similarities are hard to ignore. So starting here in August of 24, we have our low, three moves up. So we have an A, B, C, D, and a false breakout for E. Measure this. And it's at the 23.6 retracement. Okay. Can't really go back further than this, but that's kind of irrelevant. So now I really want you to focus on this move here. And let me zoom in here. Notice this impulse. I mean, this is a wave that is hard to find sometimes. I mean, even here, it looks kind of jagged, but just a parabolic move from what I was having back in November, a hard time to count. I mean, I couldn't get it until I figured out the whole move was a triangle. But I don't want to get in that. I've already mentioned that in previous videos. So now, kind of focus on this move. Okay, from here to here. This is going to kind of maybe help us anticipate the move coming out of this triangle here. So here's the false break out of the triangle. We pop up. We don't really get that impulse, what I was talking about there. The impulse was previously here. Oops. This impulse. So instead of the having it after the triangle, we got it before. Subtle difference. So now we don't really have that curve right off the bat, but it's kind of a cycle here for this next move up for this C leg. So is what I'm trying to get at is I think this whole move needs to be retraced. I'm not saying it's the start of a bear market, but I think this move is almost done for in ABCs for 3 moves. So we have our A, have our B. Now we need to find where our C is going to lie. Usually I try to base it off the first move, but we've been so extended that it's going to be hard to find. So anything past the A is usually what I am looking for, but because this was a triangle and our B is up here, our C wave didn't start till 577, but we have to go past this D leg. With triangles it gets a little bit more complicated, so just trust me that we're looking for any fib past this 597 level. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. Here's our D. Our first level is 200, but it looks like we're breaking out of that. Going to the next fib is going to be up here at 560.56 or 59. So I'll go ahead and write that down for a target. Like I said, because of the triangle pattern, it may throw us off here, but we're going to take a couple more measurements on the internals and see if we can have anything line up. So what I say, 660. Let's just do 660. A bunch of sixes and zeros. Okay. And we'll make it green because it's on the 261 I mean. Okay. Now, in case this move needs to be retraced, we will confirm this. Let's confirm this A wave here. So here's our first 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. On the 123.6. That's telling me that that's not the the rally's kind of ending. Usually the 161 is telling me that we could go higher, but and this being the beginning of the C leg, we still have a couple more moves left, so doesn't mean that we're not going to go higher. So let's just take this out and measure now this entire first leg here, this A leg. Now this puts us at this leg here right at the 161.8. So now it's telling me maybe we are going a little higher. But because I've already got 3 moves in, any type of correction here is going to be a more shallow correction. So maybe I'm looking at a 23.6 to a 38.2 correction. So let's get that in the works from this move. Let's correct that move. And my 50 and 61 are here at the 600 level and 593. I'm just going to put a rectangular zone there. Okay. Oh wait, I said it was going to be a shallow correction. Sorry. 23 to 38. That's going to be here. So anywhere from 615 to 606, which I have our major price level on the previous high in March of this year. So I have it at 608. All right, so that's maybe where we retrace in the short term, and then we get another 3 moves up to complete this move from 2023. So let's recap here real quick. So we hit a 161.8. This again, this is a 4-hour time frame. We're on the SPY. The futures did make some moves going into Friday because it was a holiday. I think it was Friday, maybe Thursday late. I can't remember, but I know that the SPY didn't move. So there might be a gap down on Monday, depending on how futures open up on Sunday. But this, because it's a 4-hour time frame, this little candlestick doesn't mean much. As far as the 161, let me put that back up there real quick. As far as this 161.8, there's not enough information to tell me that's going to hold yet. Okay, it could go on through and go up to the 200%, which is basically telling me we're on our way up to the 660 target on the bigger time frame. So, maybe we don't get that smaller correction, and we're probably not going to catch it. So honestly, I'm still bullish, but it's coming to an end. Now, let's look at some of the RSI and MACD to help us confirm some of this. We're at around 76, but I usually don't consider it over bought until it gets into the 80s. For a little bit better confirmation. We did see slight divergence right here and here, but again, these are smaller degree waves, so I'm not going to read too much. Can't get this trend line going. I'm not going to lay a lot of weight on this. I would say if I want to compare divergence, I would try to get this wave included. Let me get these fibs out real quick. So on this move, based on that move, I mean, it's not really much of a divergence, only on that last leg. I hope you can see what I'm looking at. I mean, this just kind of tells me that maybe we get a pullback, that shallow pullback. I mean, because I have to say that this is all one cycle here. Yeah. So let me think here. Okay. So let's look at the MACD then real quick. All right. Now, let's switch it to the daily. I should have switched it to the daily earlier. Okay. Let's go back to the RSI real quick on the daily. I really like to look at these indicators on the daily more than any other time frame. So, but that leg I was talking about earlier, there's no divergence now. Okay. So, yeah. I'm just looking here real quick. Yeah, so we're just basically getting to, trying to get to 80 probably. So still some room to go, I think, personally, on the RSI. Now the MACD, yeah, it's starting to show, a little bit of over bought, but this little gap here is nothing to what I've seen previously. So this is still telling me we could go further. Okay. So the signal line here is also, the long-term signal line is also starting to, if you can kind of imagine drawing this line out, it's starting to tear away from the zero line here. So anyways, let's see, what else is there? Well, let's go to the SPX real quick. This is all going to be kind of the same scenario. Okay, I just don't have it labeled. Here, the 55 crossed our 200-day moving average. So this is also telling me that a setup for a breakout. Okay, even though we get the correction, we probably need, this would still all be just one wave, and we need two more legs to finish the whole move. So that's too far to tell though. All right, so basically all of this is bullish. Okay, same scenario what I was talking about on the SPY. No signs of any kind of turning, but let's go. That's why I want to go over the micros now, because there was a little bit of pullback on Thursday late. Okay, so this is the daily time frame. We start to see that turn on the RSI and the MACD. Little, slight turn on the momentum indicators there. So maybe we get that 23.6 retracement to 38.2, which would line up probably with this 55-day moving or 50-day moving average. So it would kind of look something like this. Okay, so that's one move. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm looking at this last leg here, um, looking for it to be some kind of extension. So I really don't want to play it out too far. We're gonna have to see here in the next few days how it reacts. I think we're gonna have kind of oh, that's what I wanted to show you. So back here when I was comparing um, this move here to this move, I'm thinking that forgot what I was thinking. um, well, it's been a long day, so if it comes to me, I'll post it up in the comments or something. But I think is what I was trying to get at is, so right here is the start of the C leg. Let me just write that in here real quick. So basically the the E leg had finished up earlier, right? This was on a major degree, so I have that in yellow, and this one here was an E. Okay. Yeah. So look at how the turn had previously moved. So that's what I was thinking, is maybe we get some kind of, slow rundown move back to the. Did this one hit the 55? This one actually hit the 200. So look for that, I guess, but little food for thought on that. Just this kind of stuck out. So anyways, let's see. So on futures, let's go down to the 30-minute time frame real quick. Let's get rid of these cycles. Here's the beginning of maybe that small correction. So let's analyze that move real quick. But let's do it on the no, I can't. I didn't label it because it wasn't open. Where's my E leg at? Let me back out here real quick. Almost done here. And then we'll go on to the Forex chart. So I just want to figure out what leg I need to move, measure. So I had to put that label on it real quick. There it is. Here's my first move up. I didn't even measure this real quick yet. So blue plast here, we hit the 200. That looks like it's my first leg. Okay, 200 on both of them. There's an argument. Let's see. Yeah, that's how I would label it. A, B, C, and A probably minor degree. And then again, same scenario, looking for a smaller pullback because these are just minor moves. So maybe 62.42 to 61.87. Hopefully you can see these numbers here. There's the box, 62.42 down there at the bottom. Gives the fib level also. This is the 38.2 at 61.87. Okay, you just have to write that down on your own time. I'm running behind here, so we're gonna finish on the Forex. And like I said, so this is what I'm looking for. And then we go higher, and then I will make a new video once it hits here. Let's move to the Forex. Go into the weekly real quick. Zoom out. I got an A, B, and a C here. Looking for an expanded flat for an A, B, and a C. I think this move is just going to fizzle. Once it hits this level here, it's going to drop and move up. So I don't know the time frame on that. You can get your own cycles out, or I can come back if anybody requests. But I have a low right here, high here. There's a cycle, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 for this one. Wait, let's get both of these in. Yeah, so I got 3 into 1. So maybe over here. So maybe all this fizzles out over here to February of next year. What? No. Oh my goodness. That's a long time. I didn't realize that. Wow. So this over here is 2031. Okay. Well, if there's any good news, it's going to be pretty volatile. I think if it keeps on this RSI and this MACD, the closer to that zero line, you should have some pretty good swings. So let's go down to the 30-minute time frame real quick. Let's get rid of these cycles. And no, let's do 4 hour. Nope, let's go to the daily. All right. There's our A, there's our B. Fizzling out for C. Now, my last video, I said that because of this retracement here, let's put it back. I think it was somewhere around the 70th percentile. Let's see here. So it's past the 61. So yeah, because of that, I was expecting some kind of triangle pattern. So I was thinking this might be an A, B, C, D, E, and then break down. There has to be a triangle somewhere, typically. So I would say if there is a triangle, it's a bigger one. And this whole thing might be a triangle. So something like this. Let's get rid of these fibs. So we got an A, B, C, D. This would be maybe a major. So an A there. Excuse me. B up here. C down here. D. And then I think the E is going to do what we've been seeing in other charts where we get a false breakout. So let's extend this to the right, extend this to the right. So A, B, C, D. I'm not going to label all these. You get the idea. Zoom out. Let's go back to the. Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, so. I mean, that's more or less how it's going to fizzle out. Whether it makes a triangle pattern or it just does something similar to the previous leg in the B correction here. You know, it's just a channel all the way down. Let's go back to the weekly so you can see it better. Okay, this is the move I'm talking about. So, I mean, you can kind of see a triangle pattern in it, but you won't see it until it's done. Alright? So, anyways, once this plays out, if it is all the way in 2031, I'm expecting a much higher leg high, much bigger leg higher to the upside. So, in a primary degree to finish off a cycle. So, we'll see if anybody's around to see it. So, I think that's all I got. Let's put this back on the daily real quick and just hit the indicators. So you can kind of tell how it's tightening up on the MACD and the RSI. So let's look at the basically the RSI is just telling us we'll see some volatility, I think, right now. Maybe one more push to the upside. Looks like it already broke through. So, well, and we should get that D leg. So yeah, we should be able to catch some swings up before it breaks down. So let's look at the MACD here real quick. Yeah, small momentum here. Bearish though, overall bearish. Signal lies below zero. Move the fast moving average is below zero. And we've got some small momentum moves here on the momentum bars relative to our bearish ones. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of turn here on the fast moving average. Hard to say on the signal line here, the slower moving signal line, but I'd say we get a little push higher to the upside before we fall down. So that lines up with maybe a D leg up. So yeah, I think that's it. Hope that helps. Let me zoom in on the 30-minute time frame real quick. You can see here we already have 3 moves. We have a retracement. Let's zoom in on this move real quick. See if we can figure out its next move on a 30-minute time frame. A direct hit on the 161.8. That tells me, earlier I said that's showing some good bullish momentum. So that's what you would want to see if you want to move higher. Let's get the correction. Correction right here is at 38.2. Let's see what this correction is. 38.2 also. So maybe get you can start in here. Let's see, we can get a one. Let's say A, B, C for a bigger A. Maybe we go sideways for a little bit, go higher up to 144.76, and then we come down to hit a bigger retracement. Because if it is a triangle, you'd more likely or not than not you would see at least a 50% from this move here, and we haven't hit it. We hit only the 38.2. So sideways up to 147.75, somewhere around there, then we fall down, and then we go up for that D leg. Well, that's a terrible arrow, but you get the idea. So, like I said, I hope that helps. I'm going to get one more picture up here on the S&P 500. Let's do it on the 30-minute. Actually, I'll leave it on the futures. All right. That is it. Till next time. Have a good one.